Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our Saris MHS basket and bike kit, and we'll see how it fits here on our 2022 Ford Maverick. This is going to be one of my preferred kits because it allows you to carry around your bike of different shapes and sizes, but also carry around some cargo, and you have the fun adjustability of the MHS base. This is the 2+1 base with these accessories. Now, one really cool thing about this too is that when you tilt this whole system away, you are still able to open up your tailgate. So let's take a look at that process. So there's this handle over here. You want to pull this lever, but do it carefully so that the bike doesn't drop down onto you. And then slowly let it go down to a tilt. Once you get yourself out of that situation, you can then lower your tailgate, and while it comes close, you do have clearance. See that? I'm able to fit my fingers underneath our tailgate, and then even if I apply weight there, it still does not make contact with the basket. So that's awesome because you still then have access to your truck bed, can get your cargo out of there without having to take this system off. Now to bring it back up to position, I do recommend putting as much of your weight or pressure on the base itself and not on your bikes. Once you get it up into position, it snaps into place and you are now ready to drive. So let's talk about weight, because once you have this weighted down with cargo, that process there may or may not be doable. So the maximum weight capacity of the base is going to be 195 pounds. So with that in mind, you have 35 pounds capacity that this Uno bike rack add-on has, and then you have your cargo basket. So while technically the basket can carry up to 200 pounds of cargo, you are limited by your actual base rack capacity. So do the math depending on the weight of your bikes, and that'll help you figure out if you can load up your coolers and your other cargo behind here. I really like this setup because then I can access things from the basket and leave the bike on there. Or if I need to go for a bike ride, I can leave everything in the basket and get easy access to the bike. We talked about that weight capacity. Also notice that this is a zero frame contact rack. It holds onto your bike by the front and the rear wheels. So no matter what type of bike frame you have, this is gonna fit. The only thing, or some of the things this won't fit though, is if you have a fat tire bike and a heavy electric bike. Again, going back to that weight capacity. I removed that rear strap, so now I can go over here to the front. The front wheel mount secures that front wheel at this 45-degree angle. When you want to release it, you press this trigger first, which pushes that front mount up, and then you press the top trigger, and that allows you to drop that mast down, and then you can grab your bike and go. That was a very quick and easy way to grab the bike, leaving the cargo basket with its cargo in it. Now, if you want to, you could put this back so it's all nice and neat, and then secure the strap into its holder. This strap adjusts back and forth for different wheelbases. Now let's talk about measurements. When you have this much accessories on the rear of your truck, that's something to be mindful of, because if you need to park into a small garage or into a small spot, you have to think of this measurement from the bumper to the end of the rack, 44 inches. So that's something to remember whenever you're driving around. Your bike is going to add a little bit to that too because of its handlebars. The next measurement is going to be our ground clearance. So how high are you loading up your bike? From the ground to the tray, that's going to sit at 23 inches. Compare that to where the hitch receiver sits off of the ground, which is 15.25 inches. So you do have that slight shank rise, so you do have to lift your bike up a little bit more, but the perks of that is since the add-on sits a little higher up than the basket, this still again gives you access to the basket. As for if you can lower the tailgate while the basket is loaded up, unfortunately you cannot. It does make contact with the basket. You do have to tilt this away whether you have cargo or not. Another thing you can do with this is you can fold this up to be more compact. There's two positions here. You have your angled, and then you have your fold up position. Some people like to keep it in the angled position if they want easy access to their tailgate, but in our case here, it's not gonna make much of a difference. Pushing this up to the folded up position, let's talk about how much this may interfere with you driving around. First is gonna be that length this will add. When you measure from the bumper to the end of the rack, that's now 12.5 inches, so a little bit over a foot. So this will make it a bit easier for you into small parking spaces. With it like this, you do see how it sits a little bit above our tonneau cover, but not much. So full visibility through our rear window. Now for our backup camera, which sits underneath that Ford emblem, that's right where our collar for our basket is. So you are gonna lose visuals through that backup camera. Your license plate will still be visible though, which is awesome and pretty unique to the Maverick. This fits into the 2-inch hitch receiver of your Maverick. You do have an anti-rattle bolt. There is a lock. You do have to be mindful when tightening down that bolt. There's not much space around your bumper, so try to use a 5/8 crescent wrench in order to secure that bolt to make sure that everything is locked. So if you are looking for a modular system where you can carry around cargo but also carry around your bike, this is going to be really good for you as long as your bike is within that 35-pound weight capacity and is not a fat tire bike. I think it's really helpful for those different biking situations, but if you need to carry around an extra heavy electric bike, you are going to have to consider another option. Potentially the 3+1 base, where you can carry a duo bike tray closer to your truck and then the cargo basket further away. That's going to be a whole nother kit, so definitely check that one out here at eTrailer as an alternative. But right here, right now, for your fun solo cycling adventures, this was a look at the Saris MHS cargo basket and Uno add-on tray, and you saw it on the 2022 Ford Maverick.